my name is Hygge Cal, and thank you for coming to watch my podcast. Thank you to all new and returning viewers. Today is Sunday, April 30th, and I only have the cat with me today, and he's by the window looking outside. I'm hoping that it'll stay sunny while I film this episode. It's been raining on and off, quite heavy rain, and I just see a whole bunch of dark clouds coming this way at the moment. So I'll just start with the episode because I have quite a lot to show you. So we're going to start with finished objects and then go on to whips, which I only have one to show you, and then some acquisitions I got. So finished objects. Last week I showed I showed the sock I was knitting for round 3 of the Sock Madness competition, and that was the Lambs and Chickens and Bunnies Oh My pattern by Clarke. I had finished the first sock and I had started the cuff for the second sock, and I have now completed the pair, and I'm through to round 4 of the Sock Madness competition. And so round 3 will end on Saturday the 6th of May around 8 o'clock in the morning, and then it's just a matter of time waiting for the specifications for the next pattern to come out, and then waiting for the pattern to come out. Hopefully it'll come out during the weekend again, so that I do have hopefully the Sunday to knit on the sock. Maybe if it comes out on Saturday again, I'll also have the Saturday to knit on the sock, because our team, or the team I'm on, which is Team G, I've mentioned this before, but when you sign up for Sock Madness, they ask you a number of questions to determine which group you're going to be in terms of how fast you knit and how much time you have to knit during the week, or on a regular basis. So Team A generally is a team that has people that have a lot of time to knit and maybe knit really fast. I don't think speed comes into it that much, but they do ask you how long it takes you to knit a pair of socks usually. So for me, on average, let's say in a regular week, it takes me about 4 days to knit a pair of socks because I don't have a whole day to knit. If I start a pair of socks maybe on the Saturday morning, I can probably finish it by the Sunday evening. But that's like 2 full days, 10-hour days of knitting, and I don't have that during the week. So yeah, so I'm in Team G, which is somewhere in the middle. And last round, so round 2, we were the first team to finish the socks. So we were the first team to get to 32 people. So yeah, and then it was Team A and Team B. This time round, we weren't the fastest, but we did come in 3rd place. So we came in behind Team A and Team B. So Team G is actually a pretty fast team at the moment. I don't know if it's the colorwork that we're all super comfortable knitting colorwork socks. And by the way, I've never knit colorwork socks. I've knit plenty of colorwork hats and cowls and stuff, but never colorwork socks. So round 2 one was 100% colorwork from beginning to end. This was just the colorwork here on the leg portion and then on the foot, tiny little bit. So, but I really am liking it. Now these still need to be blocked. I don't have 2 sock blockers, and I'm not going to block one at a time. And so yeah, I need to find some sock blockers. Either I have several options. I know my mom has a couple of old wire coat hangers, and I think I know there's a couple of tutorials on how to use those to make sock blockers, and I think I'm gonna see if I can get my hands on 2 of those wire coat hangers and make sock blockers out of that. Otherwise, I was thinking of maybe getting either a piece of plexiglass or a piece of plywood, and use the sock blocker I do have as a mold, because that sock blocker fits me the socks I put on there, the socks that fit me fit perfectly on that sock blocker. I might just make the leg slightly wider, and then cut hole, because the wood and the plexiglass would mean that the socks would stay on the hanger for a lot longer than necessary. I'll probably like cut some holes in it so air can get through easier. But like I said, I've not decided. I don't know if I'm gonna. Yeah, I want to do something like that, but I don't know when I get the time to do that. So for now, I'll just wear these. Well, won't wear them now because we're getting summer now, or it's still spring. And like I said, this week has been quite nice. It's been a bit windy, a bit chilly, but it's not cold enough anymore for me to wear woolen socks. So these are going to be put to the side along with the other socks I have, and I'll just put these on the pile of stuff to block because the pile is growing. So yeah, that was the first item I finished last week, and I finished those on Monday. And I quickly took photos and I quickly sent out the email, and yeah, so I got through to the next round. And then I picked up the cowl again. That was knitting out of Katja Darling Rainbow. I was using 2 different colors, but I didn't really feel like knitting much on it, so I didn't really do much on the Monday. And then on Tuesday morning I picked it up and I just finished it off. So here it is. I started here with the grays and the beige, and started adding in the red and the black, and then finished with the red and black. Yeah, I really like it. It's just the perfect length, so the perfect height, so to speak, and the perfect width. I've tried it on. I just need to sew in some ends, so that's going on the pile of things that have ends to weave in, which is also very nice. Then, so that's it for finished objects. I do have another finished object, but this is an old finished object, and the reason I'm going to be showing this is because my whip is a copy of this. I can't remember exactly, but in the early 2000s, so like 2005, 2006, Kim Hargreaves did. She had just left Rowan. She had been a designer for Rowan. She had left Rowan and she started her own company, designing patterns. And in the beginning, what she did was offer up her patterns in kit form on her website. And I bought several of those patterns. And one of them was the Buttercup Bolero. Now, I did not knit. I knit. So I bought the kit. It came with the yarn and the pattern. You had to have your own needles, obviously, and it came with little buttons that are on this little bolero. The only thing I did not knit that is in the original pattern is that it had a whole, you had to knit a whole garter band that you could then tie off at the front. But I decided not to do that, and I've not done that on my current whip. So this is what the original one looks like. And I wear this a lot, and the reason I'm remaking it now is because, and I'll show this close up, you can see that it's starting to fade. Let's see somewhere else where you can see it. This has been washed. I washed this last week, but see, it's really starting to fade from a lot of wear. So, and I really like this a lot. Now this, for people who've just recently started watching, I don't wear a lot of pink. I wear mostly blues, but I do like pink. So this is something I wear quite a lot. And then it came with these little buttons. So I don't have the exact same buttons for the new version I'm making. I'll just find some other buttons from Stash. So yeah, but I have some cotton in my stash from like way long ago that I bought in Holland. So it's from before I moved to Portugal, and it has some elastic in it, or has some nylon in it, which makes it slightly elastic. And I know I bought it originally to make a skirt out of, which I did knit, and the skirt grew and grew and grew and grew, and I ended up giving it to my mom. But I might take it back and modify it a bit, alter it a bit, and use it as a dress. But we'll see. For now, it's with my mom, and I can wear it whenever I want. Whenever I go over there, I can wear it if I want. But that was made in a green color, and then I bought this yarn at Rebels, which I believe it has changed location, and I believe it's also changed names, and I'll try find the new name of it, and I'll put it in the show notes. But at the time I bought this yarn, it was located off the Breestraat in Leiden, in a little alleyway towards the Grote Kerk, and it was a really nice small shop with a lot of yarn in there. Unfortunately, I don't have any photos of how it used to look like, and I've not been in the new shop that has now moved to another part of Leiden. Still pretty close to where the original shop was. So at the time when I bought the green yarn, I ended up buying 2 different shades of blue and some black, and I just bought up all the balls of yarn that she had available at the time, and I decided to make the bolero in black, because that way it goes with a whole bunch more things. And this little bolero I wear with a little black dress I have, and some other dresses, but it doesn't go with everything. So I thought, well, maybe if I make it in black, then it'll go with a lot more items. So the yarn, by the way, is, and I don't have a label here to show you, is this yarn, and it's black. It's not going to show properly, but it's Katja Cotton Comfort, which is discontinued. Doesn't they don't make this anymore. And like I said, it has a bit of elastic in it, a bit of nylon, so it does stretch just a bit. So yeah, I'm almost finished. I don't know if I'm going to make the sleeves exactly the same, because I should mention that the original pattern is made all in pieces. So the front piece, the 2 front pieces, the back piece, and then the sleeves are also knit separately and then all sewn together. And I didn't want to do that, so I did. It's done bottom up. So I have done bottom up, but I attached the 2 front pieces to the back piece, and I did all that in one, up to the point where I had to separate for the fronts and the backs to do the sleeve decreases. So that's where I'm at now. I've done the front, so these are the 2 fronts. I've done the sleeves, so here's the sleeve opening, and now I just have to do one more repeat on the fronts, on both fronts, and then I'm not going to do the bind off that is suggested in the pattern to make the shoulder seams, because I'm going to substitute that for short rows and then do a 3 needle bind off, and then I have to continue this garter band here all the way around the back of the neck. So what I did this time around, and let me tell you, I did have some difficulty in understanding the pattern. Don't ask me how I knit this the first time around. I have no idea. I think now that I'm a more seasoned knitter, I'm used to knitting patterns, that I just overcomplicate things. I should just read the pattern and knit as it is, and just not overthink things, and maybe that's what I was doing. So what I did this time, however, is I knew how many stitches I needed to pick up. So I cast on, and again, sorry, this is black yarn, it's going to be impossible to see properly, but there you go. This bottom part here is knit that way. So I cast on the 12 stitches here for the garter band and knit 406 rows, and then picked up the 204 stitches I needed. So then I started, doing the back and the front in this lace section. I did have a stitch marker here. I had a stitch marker here in the middle, so I did keep that so I knew where to do the increases. And so this is the stitch pattern, and it's reversible. You can do it either front or back. This happens to be the inside that you're looking at, but you know, that's okay. It's, like I said, it's reversible. So yeah, I'm almost done with this. Now I'm working with 3 skeins of 3 balls of yarn at the moment, because I separated. I have one on the front, one on either front, and one on the back. One on the back, I was actually worried that I might run out, but this is what I have left over, and they're falling apart. So yeah, and then I have this left over for the fronts, and I don't think this is going to be enough to make the sleeves. So I'm just going to do capped sleeves. I'm just going to go as far as they can. They might not be as long as those sleeves. That's fine by me. If anything, I'll just do a little garter band around the sleeve opening and leave it at that, and just leave it as a sleeveless bolero, which might actually even work in the winter time when I put on a long sleeve t-shirt and just have this over it to warm up my back. So this is where it's at the moment. I'm hoping to finish this today, because I already have my project for May planned out, and it's going to be a big project. So let me just put this away, because if you watched last week's episode, know that he misbehaved last week and ate a whole bunch of yarn again. And working with 3 yarns, what I did was I did one section on one of the fronts and put that on hold. Then I did one section on the other front, put that on hold, and then I did the back section. And then I went back to the one front and then the other front. So when I mean section, I did all the decreases on the one front, and then all the decreases on the other front, and then I did the decreases on the back. That way I knew exactly where I was at, because I had started doing all 3 pieces at the same time, but that wasn't working with soot. It's not a problem with the dogs, because they don't go for the yarn, but soot does go for the yarn, and it wasn't working. I had 3 sorry, I had 3 balls lying around, and he was just going after the yarn. So yeah, so sorry, dry throat. And in case you're wondering where I was drinking, this is one of the last tea bags I have of the Tazo tea, Wild Sweet Orange. And I mentioned last week that I went to Starbucks because Starbucks supposedly sells this tea, but unfortunately here in Portugal, or at least here in the one in Gaia, which is the only one near me at the moment, unfortunately no longer sells Tazo tea. They now sell another brand name as Tivana. So the only way for me to get the Tazo tea now, I believe, is through Amazon or something, because Starbucks web shop does not ship internationally, which is a shame, but you know, whatever. I'll just have to. I have a friend going to the US in July, so I might have to ask her to, if I order some and have it sent to where she's staying, then she'll bring it back for me, hopefully. But I have to talk to her about that. So yeah. So that was my whip. That's basically it for the knitting part. Oh no, I can put this one away. Then I'm joining a cow. I'm going to join 2 cows actually. One of them, I don't know if I'm going to start it exactly when it starts, which is the Starting Point Mystery Cal by Hygge Cal. It's the first mystery cal she's done in 4 years, and it's going to be. We know it's going to be a rectangular shawl. We know it uses 5 colors of yarn, and we know that it doesn't have short rows, and it will most likely be all garter and with some lace sections, and that's all we know at the moment. So I was thinking what I'm going to use, and then I had these. lying on the table behind me. Now these are the yarns I bought on the 1st of April at Dona Agulha when Teresa from Mrs. Robinson's Hand Dyed Yarn was at Dona Agulha. And I bought this one, which is the Cinderella sock. So this is going to be for socks. That's not going to go in the shawl. And then we have the Starlight, which is 100% merino. And I have 6 skeins of this. Now I only need 5. And because I have 2 that are fairly similar, so this one here and this one here, they're fairly similar. I think I'm going to exclude this one. I'm going to use these 4, and I use this one as the 5th skein. I've taken some photos this morning. I'm going to put them up on the thread on Hygge's group and ask for suggestions which one they think is best. I think this skein is just too similar to the other one and it's not going to show up too much, so I have that one. But that only starts on the official starts on the 12th of May, so in 2 weeks time. But I don't want to be doing too many cows at the same time, and I still have sock madness. I'm hoping to get, you know, as far as possible. I'm through to round 4, so as soon as that pattern comes out, I want to start knitting that. And yeah, I had some beads over there. I'll insert pictures of beads that I finally found exactly where I thought they were going to be. The other Cal that I've been wanting to join, and I had to wait a bit because the kits that were on order through Ovelha Negra took their time arriving here in Portugal, and the kit I really wanted to make wasn't available, which is kind of weird because on the website it says these are the kits available, and then when Joanna from Ovelha Negra went to order the kits, that one was unavailable. I don't know if it sold out or they just didn't make kits for that, which was a shame because Joanna didn't exactly have all the colors I wanted. But it's the Hygge Cal by Scheepjes, and I'll put all the links in the show notes. Now you have to use 2 of the Scheepjes yarn, which one is this, and it's going to be and probably a lot of you have seen this already, but it's a rectangular shawl again, that's crocheted. So you crochet the base and then you embroider or cross stitch the design onto it. And for the base you use stonewash, which is a 78% cotton, 22% acrylic, for needle 3.5, and this is 50 grams and it has 130 meters on there. And this is color 805, which is Blue Apatite. So you need 10 of these. And this, by the way, is the one. It's, if you go on the website, I wanted to do the Danish Mermaid kit, and that's the one that wasn't available. So, but this was the base, and it lists the colors that you need for that kit. So, like I already knew that Joanna didn't have all the other colors that were needed for the cross stitch part, but she did have this one. So I got the base, and then for the cross stitch or for the patterns, you're going to use the Katona. There, and this is, let me see, this is 100% mercerized cotton, and this is a little thing of 25 grams and has 62.5 meters. And then there's also 50-gram version, and 50 gram has 125 meters. So just so you get the idea of the size, 25 grams, 50 grams. So yeah, so the colors I have are this one, and I'll list all the colors in the show notes. I'm not going to list them all out here, but basically you need 10 colors. So that was one of them, and then let's see if I can hold all 10 or all 9 now. There's one. Let's see. So like I said, these are not the original Danish Mermaid colors. I wasn't able to find all of them, but I sat there and with Joanna and another Joanna, we sat there and just went through the colors that she did have and substituted ones. So these are the ones I'm going to be using. So it's going to be, let's see if I can do this without dropping everything. No, it's not going to be possible. Not going to be possible. Okay, so sorry about this. I'm going to try to do this anyway. Okay, this is the base color, so that's the crochet part, and then all the other colors are going to be the cross stitch section. Now, the pattern on the website says that you need, one of the colors you need like 2 times 25 grams, or in this case the 50 grams, which is this color. So that's what I got. But then I had already ordered another kit, which was the jewel tone kit. And that came, I was at Ravelry on Monday. This is when that's when I bought this, because Monday I had the day off, because Tuesday was a public holiday. And then she happened to go check where the kits were in transit, and they were in transit. So we were hoping that they would arrive on the Monday while I was still there, but unfortunately they didn't. They only came on the Wednesday. So Joanna sent me a message saying that the kits had arrived, and I went to pick it up yesterday while I was downtown, which I'll talk about more in a little bit. Pardon me. So this is the jewel tone. Sorry. This is the jewel tone, and this is how it comes. And sorry about the glare, because there's plastic on the front. So I have opened this. As you can see, it's open because I photographed it this morning. So I'm going to open it so you can see what's inside it. And hopefully it won't all fall out. So you get like this information thing. Then you get this cute little postcard that says life, what the meaning of Hygge on the one side, and then on the other side it's in Dutch and in English, telling you what is contained in the kits, the duration of the cowl, the measurements of your finished product, and where you can get the patterns. Patterns come out on a weekly basis, and it's a free download on the Scheepjes website, and you can download it in various languages. I've been downloading the US crochet terms because that's the one I'm more comfortable with. The UK version confuses me a bit. So I'm not much of a crocheter, but I guess the first pattern I did start crocheting and following a pattern, I used the US version, the terminology, so that's the one I've been using. And like I said, it's available in various languages. I believe it's also available in Portuguese. I've seen Italian, I think Danish, German, Dutch, obviously, English. Like I said, a whole bunch of languages. So yeah, that's like the postcard you get with all the information. Then, now this is why I was like kind of upset that they didn't have the Danish mermaid kit, because with the kit you get a little bag with a whole bunch of stuff in there. So let me see if I can open this. And again, I have opened all of this before this morning while I took photos of it. So I'll insert some photos at the end. So you get a needle to embroidery needle to do your embroidery, and it's blunt, so it's not too sharp. And I almost lost the needle now. Then you get a little charm, which is a stag. And I've not read, I have printed out up to week 11. I think that's where we're at the moment. So I have a whole bunch of weeks to catch up on. I don't know if you attach this to the actual thing or not. Otherwise I'm going to make this into maybe a progress keeper or a stitch marker. Then you do get a stitch marker. That's this cute little heart stitch marker. And then 2 little snowflakes made out of wood, and a button that says Hygge, Scheepjes, Hygge. So that's what you get in the kit, as well as all the yarn, obviously. Oh, and I got a little thing saying, lucky you, your kit includes a 50-gram Katona ball instead of 25 grams. Not only did it contain one 50-gram skein, it contains 3 50-gram skeins. So, no, correction, 4 50-gram skeins of the Katona. So I think I'm going to have extras, because I went back and checked the Scheepjes website, and it really does say that only one of the colors you need 50 grams of. The rest is all 25 grams. So I don't know if they made a mistake with this kit, but you know what? It's here now. It's mine. I'm not returning it. So that's the kit, and as you can see, that one, this one, and this one are 50-gram skeins, and the others are all 25-gram skeins. So the main color is a grey one, and this is color 802, and it's the smoky quartz. And then it has all the other colors, and some of the blues here are the same I have in the other one as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to starting the kit. I'm going to start with the Danish Mermaid, or my version of the Danish Mermaid, as I couldn't get the original Danish Mermaid, which is fine. So that's the one I'm going to start with, and I persuaded 2 of my friends to join me in doing this cowl. So I don't know when they're going to start. One of my friends is going to do the same color as this one, the jewel tone, and the other one is going to do the rainbow color one. But that was not all the stash I got yesterday, because yesterday it was last week I mentioned that our usual knitting group would have been on Saturday last week, but that we changed it because friends were coming over from various areas of the country. So we had people coming from Coimbra, we had people coming from Lisboa, we had people coming from Ceia. Some people showed up completely unexpected. No one knew that they were coming. And I'm not going to mention names because I don't know if they want to be mentioned or not. So yeah, if you go onto my the RGO Originals webpage, you will see some photos that were taken by a friend of mine. I started taking photos, and then I just got into the knitting of my bolero and completely forgot, and we were like chatting and laughing, and it was generally an amazing time. Really, we had it was great fun by everyone. I think we were there from, well, the ladies that were traveling from the other locations, they arrived around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so we went to have lunch at Bella Roma, which is a little snack bar cafe thing, but they have a proper restaurant at the top, on top. When you walk in, you see a whole bunch of pastries and all that, and they have a little snack bar area at the back of this place. But they can go up the stairs and have a big restaurant area with great service, really good quality food and the price isn't that bad. We were 10, and I think we paid roughly 80 euros, so €8 per person for a whole lunch, including drinks and everything. So it really was not a bad deal, and very well served. Each plate comes very well served. Sorry, can you see him over here? Over here? Good, this way, over here. He's eating. He's black, so you can't see him. Yeah, he's really down because he doesn't have his 2 friends to annoy. So he's been following me around all day. Every time I get up and go to the kitchen or to the bathroom, he's right there behind me. So anyway, so I was saying that one of the people that did come, and I will mention her because it relates to stuff that I bought, was Rosario from Donna Maria Yarn, and of course she brought a bag full of yarn. And so when they arrived, we were all or 4 of us were already there. We were waiting for them at the Zambia train station. We met up, we went to Belahoma to have lunch, and then we basically crossed the street to the cafe where we always have our knit group. And last week I mentioned was the NH Hotel. It's not the NH Hotel, it's the Intercontinental Hotel. Which if you're on the main square in the center of Porto with the town hall to your back, it's like the big building right in front of you, and to the left of that is the Zambia train station. So we went to Belo Roma, we crossed the street, we went to Arcadia, which is where we hold our knit group, and we walked in. It was really quiet. And in walked 10 ladies straight up to where we usually sit. There was an elderly gentleman sitting there, and he was probably going to think, I'm going to sit here quietly, enjoy my cup of tea or a cup of coffee with my newspaper, and in walk, like I said, 10 ladies making a whole bunch of noise, and straight away grabbing all the tables and putting them all together and putting up along the chairs, and then just sitting down and talking. And it's not like we were talking loudly, we were just talking normally, but we were having a good time, and like catching up with people we haven't seen in a while and all that stuff, and getting our knitting and just like settling down and all that. So he stayed maybe an hour or so before he left. So yeah. And in the meantime, more people came. So we were, I think at one point we were a group of 18 people. But yeah, the moment all the tables were in the right place, we were all like, okay, Rosario, please open up your bag of goodies because we want to see what you brought. And I wasn't able to resist. I just had to bring some of the stuff back home. Now, I don't know if I'm going to use all of this for myself or if I might keep some for giveaways in the future. But, and one person that did come, she like looked at me and was like, are you sure you want to take that color? And she was referring to this because, like I mentioned, blue is usually the color I go for, and this is definitely not blue. And I'm sorry about the lighting because there's a huge dark black cloud heading this way, so lighting is just gone. So, but it's pretty accurate. Just pinks, purples, whites, bit of green and brown in here. Yeah, so got this one. Then I went for these two. So, which I think I might use together to make like a shawl or something, a 2-color shawl. This one's called Blue Sky, and I think this one's called Juno. I'm not sure what that. I think it's Juno. So yeah, and it's her Puga, which is 75-25 wool nylon blend, and it's 100 grams, 425 meters. And then there was a sock blank. She had several sock blanks. This one I picked up immediately, and then I'm like, nope, I have to put it down. I have several sock blanks at home. I have to knit up first. And then someone else picked it up and put it back down, and I was like, nope, I gotta have it. I've got to have it. So I brought this one. It's got kind of like speckled yarn. And I've not opened this to see what more is in there, but yeah. And this again is her sock blank, which is, it's the same yarn basically as this one. It's a 75-25 wool nylon blend, 100 grams, 425 meters. Except it's knit up 2-stranded on her knitting machine. So 2 at a time socks. For now, the only socks I'm knitting at the moment, I just want to focus on the Sock Madness, and then I'll have my other projects, and when I either don't pass on to the next round of Sock Madness, or I get to the end, whichever one comes first. At that point, I'll start knitting other socks. Now, after ending each round of sock madness, whoever finishes, with the confirmation email saying that you're through to the next round, you get a bonus pattern. And I've been saving up those patterns, and I'm planning on knitting those for the October sock, or the Socktober Cal that I'll be hosting later this year. Some of them are also color work, just a little bit. Others are just knits and pearls, so textured. Yeah, I'm keeping those for October, and I'm planning on knitting those in October. And if I have time, I will also knit Nina's New York collection, which I also have, and I've not started because I started on the Sock Madness. So, yeah, that's basically it for today. A little bit like yesterday afterwards, after, the people that had come from other locations needed to go home. Some had come by car, some had come by train, so the people that had come by train needed to go catch their trains. So we basically all left at the same time. I believe it was like around 6:30, 6:45, and then I went with two of my friends over to to their house, and we had dinner. A couple other friends joined us, and we had dinner, and then we sat and knit for a little bit and played with the dog, and then came home. It was roughly 11:30 or so when I got home, and Suk was waiting for me at the door because he'd been home alone all day. Yeah, and he's been stuck to me like glue ever since, so which is fine. I don't mind at all. Every time, like I said, every time I get up to go to the bathroom or I go to the kitchen to get something to drink or to eat, he's right there behind me. And he wants a lot of cuddles, and he didn't mind me brushing him at all yesterday. And this morning, he's still shedding like crazy. It's unbelievable. I mean, I brush him, and it seems like maybe like an hour later, I could just easily brush him again and like remove a whole bunch of hair. So yeah, it's ridiculous the amount of hair he's losing. And all I notice is like little tufts of fluff all over the place. So yeah, I have to basically sweep every day. I don't do so every day. I just pick up the bigger tufts of fluff that I see lying around, and then give it a good hoover. I do sweep throughout the week, but just not on a daily basis because I do have other things to do. And tomorrow I'll be, before the dogs arrive, I will be hoovering the whole apartment really well, which is kind of hard to do with all three of them because one of them attacks, the other ones like go away, and I can never get exactly where I need to go because there's always one of them trying to attack the hoover. So I think tomorrow morning, if I do that quickly, then I should be okay. And just looking around to see if I have anything else. I don't, and it's really, I give it another 2 minutes before it's going to start pouring down with rain at the moment. So I'm going to say bye. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday or whenever it is you're watching this. I say I'm going to hoover tomorrow because there's a public holiday again tomorrow, and that's the last one we have for a month or so. So after this week, it's going to be 2 or 3 weeks straight, like 5-day normal weeks. So we'll see how that goes along. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your day or whenever it is you're watching this, and I'll be back next week, hopefully with a finished bolero and some progress on my Hygge Cal. Like I said, I think I want to start with the Danish Mermaid, but we'll have to see tomorrow which one I start with. And oh, one last thing I wanted to mention is that for some reason all the blog posts I scheduled for the month of April disappeared. I think they're up to the 7th or the 8th. They posted when I scheduled them, but the rest have all disappeared. Apart from the ones I post, like the show notes, which I do on the day. Usually I like set up a whole week or a couple weeks, depending on how many photos I have, how many finished items I have to show already. I schedule the posts so that I don't have to do this on a daily basis, because it does take quite a bit of time. And like I said, I have 3 pets to play with, and I do want to get some knitting done in the evening. I still have to cook and do some cleaning around the house, so that's why I schedule them. But for some reason, they all disappeared. So, and I only noticed this last week, and then I didn't have time during this week to. Didn't have time, and I didn't have the brain capacity this week to do that. So I'm going to see about that tomorrow as well. See if it's because I'm scheduling them so far in advance, or whatever the reason. I'll be starting hopefully to post again on a daily basis, or every other day from tomorrow onwards. So bye, have a nice week, and I'll see you guys next week.